Hello mirrors. Today we're going to be looking at what your intuition is trying to tell you. So these will be messages from your intuition. This could either be about a specific situation or just in general. It will just depend on what the cards have to say. I've already pre-drawn these piles to make it go quicker. If you have any thoughts about that, let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in a private reading, that information is in the description box. If you would just like to jump straight to the reading, you can pick one or two or all three if you're interested. But pile one is going to be this pink stone. And these are all just dyed stones, I believe. So I'm just going to call them pink, green, and blue. And this really cool looking green stone. And then this beautiful like teal cerulean blue stone actually. Okay. If you're new here, my channel is specifically based on law of attraction. My readings are meant to empower you. They're meant to help you create the mindset you need to realize the world that you want, to imagine the world that you want so you can create it. I do believe that you have the power to manifest absolutely anything with anyone. That is up to you. It is due to our beliefs, whether or not we inhabit a reality where we are in alignment with that person, with that experience, with that job, whatever it is. And it's our job as humans, actually spiritual beings inside of a human body, to manifest, to become conscious manifestors and understand that we were created in God's image and we do have the power to manifest, which is inhabit the reality that we choose, that we want in all facets of life, not just manifestation here and there, but in all areas to create heaven on earth. Okay, that is our job here. So my channel is based off of that belief system. If you want to learn more about law of attraction, I highly recommend looking into my recommended videos playlist. There are a lot of videos there about it. Roxy Talks is a great channel. Leora Alexander, Gem Goddess is really great. There's so many great. Shelley Bullard. There are a lot of really great teachers out there that can teach you about law of attraction, but my readings are based on law of attraction specifically, so that does come up quite often. I never want anybody to feel tied to the fate of the cards. It is about empowerment and awareness, okay? So with all that being said, I do want to go ahead and get started with pile one. Hello, pile one. So let's take a look. You chose this really beautiful pink stone. What is your intuition trying to tell you? I have a big old stack of cards. We have the Six of Cups, the Princess of Cups, the Devil in the reverse, Justice. Already loving this so far. This is really beautiful. I hope I have enough room. I really don't think so. I have all these cards. Retreat, the Sun. I'm going to kind of just lay them like this. I really need a different camera angle so we can fit more cards on screen. We have Birth of Creation, which is also number 6. Potential Growth. Cracked Open. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Okay, cracked open right on top of this egg here. Rock Bottom, Surrender to the Alchemy of Life. We have Story Keeper, Tell Your Story, Legacy, Write Your Wisdom. Say What You Mean on top of Story Keeper. That is too funny too. I just randomly shuffle these cards, so this is really cool. This is coming up. And then we have Spiritual Abundance, and then I will get to this at the end. I want to interpret this, and then I want us to look at this. This is Teal Swans. What are these cards called? The Blind Spot Oracle cards. So they tell you what you're not seeing. So I'm going to interpret this, and then we're going to tie this in together at the end. So let's start with all this really great tarot card energy up here. So we have the Six of Cups, and it's clarified by the Princess of Cups here, which is like the Page of Cups, but it's feminine energy. So first of all, we have a lot of feminine energy. We have a lot of emotion here. I feel like the universe is telling you that your emotions are valid, that even what I'm really hearing is that if you are feeling really good and you want to hold on to that feeling, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. A lot of times we often can tend to have this really great feeling about something, feel really positive, and we end up kind of pushing down that good feeling. You know, we always hear about pushing down negative feelings. Of course, that is a coping mechanism, but it's also a coping mechanism to push down good feelings because we don't want what we feel is the inevitable feeling of losing that good feeling, okay? But the universe is saying keep your feelings high. That's even why we have the sun here. Keep your emotions high if you feel that way, if it feels right to you, if it feels authentic, because that's going to bring in a lot of good. You're letting go of a lot of the old things are coming together. So if your intuition is telling you good things are coming, if you feel good about something, it's not just a figment of your imagination, because you are the manifestor of your reality. So feeling great about something is actually a way we can manifest. It's a way that we can harness that positive energy. Now, we're not always going to feel good all the time, and that's okay. And that is perfectly fine. It's perfectly acceptable. But at the same time, we need to be real with the feelings that we're feeling and feel them, whether they are good or bad. And when something does happen, because you know it's not always going to be beautiful sunshine and rainbows, okay? There are things that are going to happen in your life. Remember that feeling is what I'm hearing with the Six of Cups. Remember how it felt when you did feel good, when you had what you wanted. If, for example, you're dealing with a relationship type thing, okay, or a situationship or something like that, and you feel really good one day because your person is really in alignment with you, you're feeling really optimistic about, you know, your prospects or about your future, but then the next day they're acting kind of aloof, you know, they're kind of cold, they're kind of distant. Go into meditation and remember how you felt, okay? That's a really big message for you guys. And of course, it's not just about relationships, it's about everything. And this will let you release this devil energy. The devil energy is about limiting beliefs. It's about addiction, and it's about being tied to materialism, tied to what you can see rather than rising above and claiming what you cannot see. We have spiritual abundance here. That's what this is about. This is what's promised to you if you can continue to remain positive, allow yourself to feel all your emotions, but also to go back and to stay positive even when things are not looking so beautiful, because justice is there, and it's there to tell you that all things are going to work out. The energy and love you put in, you're going to get it back. It may not be immediately, it may not even be next week, but eventually you will receive this beautiful abundance, because that is the energy that you're putting out. And the universe is really saying that you're doing a good job. Your intuition is telling you you've been doing a good job on this. I feel like most of you listening have been putting in a lot of work, okay? A lot of work to undo the past and to move forward to the future. We have the sun in retreat, and I'm taking all these cards together because that's how I laid them out. So it may be time for you to kind of go off on your own. Definitely nature, because we have the retreat and the sun here are both showing nature. I'm going to show you these cards. Both very, very beautiful, luscious, abundant growth, okay? And that's how I feel like if you can find some time to retreat into nature, to take some time for yourself, you know, without anybody else's energy or input, and just kind of meditate, just kind of be. You don't have to think about anything if you don't want to, but thinking about these positive thoughts will be very good for you if you choose to do that. Or you can just be present in nature, and that is when your intuition can really speak to you, because this reading is great, but each of you are individuals, and each of you has something that the universe, that your intuition is really trying to speak to you, but it may be difficult reaching you because there's all of this other energy. So the universe really says, go out, maybe go out in the sun if you're able to, and meditate, be at peace, be calm, try to clear out any thoughts from your mind, especially negative thoughts, and see what pops up in your head. One thing I do want to say about intuition that a lot of people don't quite understand is that your intuition, your inner voice, it sounds just like your normal voice. I mean, I have heard that for some people it can sound different, especially if you're talking about spirit guides, but your own like internal intuition, your higher self, most of the time is going to sound just like that inner critic that you have, the ego talking. It's the same voice. It's not like it's anything different, and that's why people have trouble differentiating it. Is the voice that's speaking in your head is in alignment with love and truth and prosperity and optimism? If so, that is your higher self. If it is limited, if it is critical, if it is negative, that is your ego. So that's how you can tell the difference, which is why this is saying that voice of that's in alignment with the energy of the sun, with positivity, with hope and optimism, with light, because light is truth. That is what your mind, when it's in that vibration, along that vibration, that is when you'll receive the truth, not lies. That's when you'll know what your intuition is trying to tell you very specifically. Then we have birth of creation, and of course cracked open. So this does say rock bottom. For some of you guys, you may literally actually be there. For others, I think this came out because of the whole cracked open thing and the birth of creation. So I feel like a lot of you have been in this kind of egg, in this bubble. You've been kind of like a baby in the womb and you're ready to be birthed. You've been growing inside and you're ready to burst open. So a lot of you guys may have been working internally on some of these blockages, but you're not really seeing a lot of external changes, and you've been feeling really downtrodden about this. This may be that rock bottom feeling, but you're ready to crack open. You're ready to be birthed. Okay. This could be an idea. This could just be like a huge glow up. It could just be a new phase in your life, an awakening. But that growth is there. The potential is there. But just like an egg, that is being nurtured, it needs to be kept warm. It needs to be in certain conditions depending on, whatever's in that egg. And when you nurture that and you're ready, you're brave enough to crack open and to surrender, this is when you have this surrender to the alchemy of life. So this is beautiful. Alchemy is about, it's a metamorphosis. It's a metamorphical process, okay? So when we allow things to shift, for example, say, you found out that you have some disease. This is just an example. And it's the worst news you've ever had in your life. But you take that news and then you use it in order to make yourself healthier. You start eating better, you start working out, you start taking really good care of your mental, physical, and spiritual body. And then you heal all of these things, and it would have never happened if you would have never been sick. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this happened to me about, I think it was 10 years ago, about 10 years ago. I got in a car accident, nothing major, but a car hit me, and when I was parked at a light, I got really bad whiplash and ended up having sciatica. I didn't have insurance to go to a doctor, but I believe I had a slipped disc. And I went from being perfectly healthy to not being able to walk in the period of like maybe 3 or 4 months. I could barely walk. I would be in so much pain sometimes. I would literally just like slip out of bed and crawl to the bathroom and crawl to go get food. It was awful. But eventually that I did the work to figure out what was wrong with me. It actually came up in a really interesting way and really intuitive way. And I ended up just changing my entire lifestyle, and it totally changed everything in my life. I was able to be much healthier, and it eventually led to my spiritual awakening, I believe, a year later. So that's an example, guys. But alchemy is that metamorphosis. It's taking something that may look useless or may not look good and using it to your advantage. Okay, that's why these things happen. And then we have Say What You Mean in Storykeeper. This has gone on a lot longer than I intended. But Say What You Mean in Storykeeper. So this is very straightforward. Start writing. Start journaling. There's something that the universe is trying to convey through words. And I think even just journaling indiscriminately when you really feel like it, or after deep meditation, you're going to actually come up with all of these things. All of these things that you have been wondering for so long. You can even ask a question and then just write what comes to your head. So when I also say what you mean, this is about brutal honesty. You want to be really brutally honest when you do this exercise. It is going to be for your benefit no matter how much really tough stuff comes up, okay? So let's look really quick into this before I end the reading. Oops, I really want to read all of this, but it's quite a bit, okay? But this card is about bulldozing. So she talks about how we have multiple parts within us. We split. So one side of us wants one thing, another side wants another thing. Every human has this. We are in 3D reality. This happens due to trauma, usually from childhood. But what bulldozing is, this is how she describes it. It is if the part of us that is saying no to something is standing in front of a bulldozer being driven by our other part, and instead of creating resolution so that both parts feel in alignment with the choice being made, the one driving the bulldozer simply runs right over the one protesting. So she also says, if you've drawn this sigil, you are bulldozing a part of yourself in this scenario. This is why you feel like you're moving forward and doing things in spite of yourself. You would be wise to understand that you cannot do this and feel good or manifest anything good at the same time. In this situation, you need to make sure that you move forward on decisions only after you've achieved a state of alignment between those two parts of yourself. So you might need to do some shadow work here. And I think all of these other things are going to help you. That's why justice is here. It's like the two parts of you will become balanced. You're working on integration. Something that we tend to do as humans is we push one side of us away, and then we move forward with the side that we deem as better or serves us on a deeper level, or on a more practical level usually. So we're meant to integrate, guys. We're meant to bring these parts together. We're meant to empathize with both parts and find a compromise, find something that works for both sides. So this is going to be different for everyone. This is going to take a lot of shadow work. Your intuition is saying that there is something that you are bulldozing. There's a certain part of you that is overrunning another part of you. And the way to find this out is to do this work, to retreat, to stay positive. Know that you can manifest when you are, I don't want to say stay positive, like you can't feel bad, but I mean, don't turn off that feeling of positivity just because you're afraid to lose it, okay, is a really big message. You're ready to be cracked open. You're ready to alchemize what's happening. And if you take some time to journal, you will actually have some really interesting things that come up. I'm really feeling that for you guys. So that's it, guys. If you've enjoyed this reading, like, comment, and subscribe. But that is it, guys. I love you. Hello, group 2. Let's see what your intuition is trying to tell you. Now, I'm going to tell you before I start this reading, this is quite the group. The cards were flying out everywhere. It wasn't doing this for the other group, so I expect quite the lesson from this one. We have 4 of Swords, the Devil. Devil reverse came out in pile 1. We have the 7 of Swords in the reverse. And we have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. And this is so great so far. Okay, we have Purification, definitely getting that vibe. We have Hostilities. Emotional challenges, resolve the issue. The 7 Star Sisters, so we have 7 again. Birthing, creations, tapestry of life. So already getting some similar vibes from pile 1. There was literally a card about birthing, creation. Carry me home, support, time to be carried, allow others to help. Courage. Study and learn. Thank you, angels, for allowing me to see that every day is a learning day. I'm going to put this here. And then this is from Teal Swan's cards called The Blind Spot, and we'll look at that after everything else. So I'm going to also put the study and learning over here. Let's start with these tarot cards. We have 4 of Swords clarified by the Devil. Okay. Oh, and first of all, I like to say my initial thoughts. the things that are really obvious to me. There is some type of situation you are meant to face that you need to kind of purge from your life. Something, I'm guessing, with a specific person, though it could be a job, could be with yourself, it could be a friendship, it could be a lover, of course, it could be just a way of life, it could be an addiction, since the devil is here. It just doesn't align with you, okay? But I'm going to go into more details there. And the universe is also asking that you seek help from others, that you don't do it by yourself. But let me go into more detail. So the Four of Swords, clarified by the devil, it's definitely being asleep, okay? So I don't mean that you're asleep spiritually. Obviously, you wouldn't be listening to a tarot reading if you are just asleep and you have no spiritual awareness. But it's something maybe that you have denied, that you have a problem with. It could be something like overeating. It could be something like spending your money away. It could be that you spend a lot of time kind of just wasting time. I'm hearing is a big one for most of us. Wasting time that could be better utilized for moving forward and evolving, okay? It's like a coping mechanism, but it's something that the universe is saying, pay attention, okay? Your intuition is creating hostile situations. So if you come up with fights, if you feel bad about something, if something doesn't vibe with you, it's not because you're being punished. It's not because the universe is random. It's there to wake you up. So pay attention to things that aren't in alignment, things that kind of feel hostile, things that don't integrate with you, don't feel right, because it's there to, because your intuition is like, hey, look here. Because then we have Seven of Swords in the reverse. This is coming out of deceit. I feel like people in pile 2 may have been deceiving themselves for a while of something that hasn't been good for them. And it feels like with Five of Cups, upright, you know, it's that feeling of grieving a loss. With it in the reverse, it feels like once you can wake up and once you can see the truth, you're gonna know, like realize you have all these cups around you, that, you know, behind him, he has the Two of Cups, which is like such a beautiful union. And of course, I take this as meaning like you're going to have a union with yourself, with what you truly want. So a lot of times when we have to give up an addiction, which is what the devil is often about, we have to give up an addiction, a bad habit. We don't want to, because we feel like we're going to lose something. If we eat better, we feel like we're going to lose out on the taste of good food. If we stop drinking every weekend, we feel like we're going to miss out on fun. You know, if we get up and be productive, we feel like we're going to miss out on that time of chilling out. When, to be honest, it doesn't actually work that way. Let me give you some examples from what I just said. So say that you do decide to eat better because you know it's good for your body. Well, you could find foods that taste way better, or you could have like a, you know, cheat day or whatever, and food tastes a million times better than when you're eating it every day. If you're drinking every weekend, you can find that you actually have more fun when you're not drinking, or you can find friends that are a lot higher vibe, a lot more, you have deeper connections with and enjoy the time more because you're connecting on a higher vibration. Or when you do drink, you have a much better time and you know your limits. Or what was the other thing I said? Being unproductive. This is something I've really noticed, guys. When I spend my days being highly productive, when I have that like hour or two at the end of the day, it feels so good. It feels so much better than if I'm unproductive all day. So that's the vibe I'm getting from these cards. And obviously this purification, there's something that is meant to, you're just meant to purify it out of your life. Your intuition is really wanting more purity. You may actually be having trouble hearing your intuition, which might be why we started off with a Four of Swords, because you're not in that pure mindset. And that sounds it sounds judgmental, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be about a higher vibration. It's meant to be that you are capable of hearing your inner voice loud and clear. But when we have all these energies, especially these negative energies that are combating against our inner voice, it's very hard to hear it. So this is very obvious. We have emotional challenges, resolve the issue. This is something that is hurting your emotional emotional body. I think for most of you, it's going to be coping. It's going to be a form of coping. So you're not going to realize it. You're going to say, oh no, you know, when I laze around all day, it feels good. It's great. It helps my emotional body, but it's a coping mechanism. It's more of you're pushing down your emotions rather than dealing with them. So the universe really wants you to resolve this. It wants you to resolve this, what is the word I'm looking for? Where things don't meet. It's basically a conflict, okay? A conflict of where you actually want to be. With the 7 sisters and with Carry Me Home both coming up in a row, I do feel like this is saying you might need support from others. You might want to try this with a friend. So, you know, whatever it is, if you want to start working out, maybe get a workout buddy or join a group where you can talk to a lot of people going through the same thing. You don't have to do this alone. And in fact, when you can do it with like-minded people, it's actually going to increase your efficiency. It's going to make your manifestations in regards to this much stronger, much faster. And you're going to be birthing creations together. It's like birthing new worlds, tapestry of life expression. This is going to change everything. And it's going to take a lot of courage, guys, to see the truth. It's going to take courage to change your habits. It's going to take courage even to find support. It could even be something that you're embarrassed about, okay? If you have a problem with, you know, maybe a substance or something, it could be something you're deeply embarrassed about. It's not something you want to admit to yourself or anybody. But when you have the courage to shine the light, that is when you are going to be able to start this process of purification. We have studying and learning. So there are things that you can do, like on a very logical level, that will help you with the situation. There are resources. So start researching. I talked about this in the first group, but I went through a major healing of my body 10 years ago. And even though it was a very spiritual experience, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of practical, I found a lot of practical solutions, like taking certain supplements and doing certain exercises. And I needed to research, and that's what the universe is telling you here. There are things for you to learn that you can use a search engine for, that you can talk to people about, you can have support, you can learn, and it will actually help you find ways to deal with this. So basically, a big part of this reading is there is something you're ready to purify from your body. You're ready to move on to this next phase, but your intuition is telling you need help, okay? You don't have to go at this alone, and it's not because you're weak that you need help. It's because it actually is a very powerful thing to bond with others. So let's look at number 67 from Teal Swan's blind spot deck. This is what we're not seeing. What is it that you're not seeing about the situation that your intuition is trying to tell you? This is about disconnection, okay? This is very obvious, okay? We talked about this. And by the way, if you did feel drawn to pile 1, watch it, because it has a kind of similar message. I mean, very different in a lot of ways, but I feel like pile 1 kind of builds on pile 2. So if you want more information, definitely check this out when we're done. So she says, these explanations are so long. I wish I could read them all, but it would take like 5 minutes. Okay. So I want to read the end of it. Positive focus can be a way to disconnect from half of the reality of life and all of one's negative emotions. Opening okay. That just kind of gives example. Sorry guys, I should have paused and read through and found the parts that I felt were really relevant. But she says if you've drawn the sigil, you're being asked to see your disconnection. You're being called to transition out of this state and into connection. Reestablish your connection with whatever you have disconnected from. So you don't want to disconnect from your negative emotions. You don't want to, like I was saying, things being a coping mechanism. So the universe really saying connect and feel and be aware. Stop ignoring what is really obvious. It's really obvious when you wake up and you look at it, and it's really obvious that you're ready to let it go and to move forward, and you're not losing anything. At the end of the day, you're gaining, and it's going to be a very powerful change. So yeah, that is the main voice, the main point of this. And sorry, I read something in there that was so relevant to me that it kind of got me a little tongue twisted. But anyway, regardless, this reading is really beautiful. And I think that as long as you have the courage to be honest with yourself more than anything, you can go on this journey. And your intuition is telling you all sorts of things, and you're ready to listen to it. You're ready to connect to it. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Again, you might want to check pile 1 out if you feel inclined to, because it feels like a continuation of this message. But that's it, guys. I love you. Hello, pile 3. Let's look at what your intuition is trying to tell you. We have the 6. Is this 9 of Pentacles? This is 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. I believe so. Yes, 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. The Emperor in the reverse. The 8 of Coins in the reverse. The 2 of Cups in the reverse. Oh, wow. Okay. We have Animal Kingdom. We have First Chakra. Okay, it makes a lot more sense. When this Animal Kingdom card comes up, it's so confusing, but it makes sense with First Chakra coming up. Hidden Realms, create conscious awareness. Star Bathing. Light Body Crystal Grid, transmission, activation. The Merlin, guidance, mentorship, teacher of the old ways. Wild. Oh my gosh. Such a cool reading so far. Then we have Connect with Music. Thank you, angels, for inspiring me through music. And this is from Teal Swan's blind spot deck. So this will tell you what it is that you're disconnecting from, what you're not seeing. I'm going to do that after I interpret everything. Okay. So I want to go ahead and list my just major overall idea about this. This is a very similar reading to the first 2. It's totally different though. It's totally unique to you guys, but I am noticing a pattern from all 3 readings. It's about disconnection from the self. It's about not connecting with the true self, and that it's time to. That's basically what all of our intuitions are telling us right now, which is so funny. But this message is totally different than the other ones. I'm feeling like my first intuitive hit on this is that a lot of you guys listening are doing what the world expects of you and not what you truly want. Okay, but we're going to go into this in detail. We have 9 of Pentacles and the Emperor in the reverse, both in the reverse. The Emperor clarifying the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of you guys are totally dealing with money issues, security issues. You may not know where your next paycheck is coming. You may not be in a secure home. You may not feel like you know where tomorrow is going to take you. And this is making it really difficult. It's making it difficult for you to hear your intuition. It's making it difficult to live day by day. And I think, you know, you're in a survival mode kind of thing. A lot of you guys might be dealing with like a dictator type of relationship with a boss or another person. We do have the 2 of Cups, so it could be that some of you guys are in a relationship with a manipulative person, a narcissist. Take that if it resonates. Don't take it if it doesn't. If not, this is just your own inner struggle. It doesn't have to be with another person. I know 2 of Cups, a lot of people think of it as other people. Sometimes 2 of Cups is about your own internal relationship, the parts of you, the masculine and the feminine. And we do have the Emperor here in the reverse. So some of you guys might be going through a lot of overwhelming emotions. I'm hearing that out of all the piles, you guys are having the most trouble connecting with your intuition. It's hard for you to hear. You're feeling very confused. 8 of Coins in the reverse. I see this as someone who just is tired of putting in the work. That's why I feel like some of you guys might be dealing with like a boss who's overbearing. You maybe have had your work, your hard work exploited, and you just don't want to put in the work. Again, this could be about relationships too. Some of you guys are tired of putting in the work because you're putting in way more and your person's not respecting you. Okay, so this could also be that you're tired of putting in the work for yourself, like you feel like you're doing so much, but it's just not, it's not panning out. You're not seeing anything from it. With animal kingdom and first chakra, this is so important, guys. This is, like I said, animal kingdom came out and I was like, I get frustrated when it comes out because I do think it could be a positive message for you to connect with animals. I mean, we have connect with music here. You definitely connect with your pets. That can help you, especially if you have reptiles. I have reptiles. Very good first chakra, root chakra animals. Really great for connecting to that instinctual part of ourselves. But this is what's going to help you. The universe says that balancing this first chakra is, and your instincts are going to help you quite a bit. You need to feel rooted. So you may not know where your next paycheck is going to come from. You may not be dealing with a really nice person in your midst. You could be dealing with, again, like I said, a boss that's overbearing, but you can take control of your own body. So maybe try eating healthier foods, doing exercise, expending that energy, that bottled up energy through exercise, finding ways in which you can be secure, in which you can feel good, following your instincts. And this isn't about being overly emotional, but following what feels right to you, what is going to push you into the next day. I keep hearing instincts because this animal kingdom and first chakra both coming up. This is definitely about instincts. And it might be that some of you guys are only in your instincts right now. So this might not be, I mean, first chakra is coming up, right? So it might not be advice, although that advice will definitely help you. It's definitely going to help you. It's not going to, what I'm saying is, you can definitely heed that advice no matter what. But I do think for a lot of you guys, this is saying that you guys are in instinct mode. You're in survival mode. You're in an animal mode. It's hard for you to expand outside of that because you're just trying to survive from day to day. But then we have these next two cards, which I think are just so great because they're, we have this root chakra stuff, and then this feels very much like crown chakra or third eye. It's the upper level chakras. We have the hidden realms, create conscious awareness. So this is the next step here. Star bathing. You might want to look into star bathing. I don't know that much about it, but what I'm really getting here is that light grid, crystal grid, transmission, activation. I'm getting the activation, the light body, your body that extends out of this physical world. So some of you guys listening might be a little bit skeptical. You might actually not relate so much to tarot. I'm not sure why you're here, if that's how you feel, but regardless, you might just be someone who doesn't necessarily believe in all this stuff, or you might be very questionable, which is not a bad thing. We should question, and I will never tell you not to question, but I think that some of you guys are kind of stuck in this energy of feeling like you're only your body. You're only, your 3D human self, and the universe is saying expand out of that. Your intuition is trying to let you know you're more than that. You are an infinite being, and you need to connect to that part of yourself to really be able to hear these messages your intuition is trying to tell you. There are hidden realms. There are things you're not seeing. There are infinite realities. There are infinite possibilities, and it's very hard when you're just trying to survive day by day. I understand. I've been there so much of my life, and I'm sure a lot of people can say that. So I do empathize. I do understand. But you are so much more, and your intuition is really trying to convey that to you. We have Merlin, and then we have Wild. So what I'm getting from this is you're actually a super powerful being. You're ready to awaken. You're ready to expand outside of this small bubble. I'm feeling this side is very much constricted and this side is very much free. So it's almost like this split right here. You're ready to expand. You're ready to be wild, run free, have no limitations. You're not just here to be an instinctual animal surviving day by day, even though our society is very broken, and it really seems that way on the surface. When you get into spirituality and you can expand outside of this self-concept of the ego, you'll really understand that you are truly free. And these these illusions of boundaries in the 3D world? Absolutely nothing. Not in the grand scheme of things, okay? So we alchemize. We take those situations which seem hard, which seem tough, which seems like illusion, and we use them to our advantage, and we allow ourselves to expand with those things. So like I gave an example, like say you went through a health crisis, but you use that health crisis to be healthier than ever. You've alchemized it. You've turned it into something beautiful. You've expanded it, and you've turned it from what is seemingly negative to positive, and maybe even one of the best things you've ever done in your entire life. Okay, so with the Merlin here, it could be that you are seeking, or you're being guided to seek some type of mentorship. This could definitely be true for a lot of you guys. If that resonates with you, maybe look into some spiritual teachers. Look into my recommended videos playlist, because there are a lot of teachers that I post in there, and they talk about law of attraction, they talk about spirituality, and it might really help you. But I think for more of you, this is saying you're actually the spiritual leader, and your intuition is wanting you to get in touch with that side of yourself. But it's a wild side. I'm hearing shaman. You're like a shaman. You're very free. You're not actually confined. And part of your blueprint for this life is that you have decided to go into a body where you feel really restricted, and you feel like you aren't free at all, and you're here to expand outside of it, and you're here to break all of these illusionary bonds that you have perceived and you've dealt with throughout your life. And connect with music, very specific message. But make sure you're paying attention to the music you're listening to. What are the lyrics? I don't mean to be, we do have this wild energy. It's not meant to be restrictive on you. It's about awareness. There's a lot of beautiful music that can have positive influence on you. And the more low vibe music, I think, is good for feeling energy. But there's a time and a place, and there's time to feel the energy. There's time to connect with that energy and allow it, and then move on. So if you're sad about a breakup, listening to breakup music for months on end while you cry and cry is not healing for you. It is to feel it, to feel what you need to feel, and then to integrate and move on. But I think that a lot of you guys could be musicians. You could be singers. Music is so healing. Singing is very, very healing for the body and the soul, so the universe can be saying to connect in that way. But it's a very specific message, and it applies to all of you, is what I'm hearing. There's, whether or not you feel like that resonates, I'm hearing it actually applies to all of you. So let's end with this. This is Teal Swan's blind spot deck, and let's see, this is what you're not seeing. This is number 21. That number might be it might be necessary, or it might be significant. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Significant for some of you guys. This is the sigil of isolation. If you've drawn the sigil right now, you're isolating yourself, and either telling yourself you aren't, or you're telling yourself that you need to go at it alone when you don't. You might also relate to pile 2 or 1, because some similar messages came up. So you need to know why you're isolating. This might be why this 2 of Cups is here. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long, but I'm going to read the last little bit of this. If you've drawn the sigil, you have to stop isolating yourself, involve other people and you and in the situation at hand. Instead of looking at the world in ways that isolate you, such as how people don't understand you and how you're different from them, look at the world in ways that connect you, such as how people do understand you and the ways in which you are the same as others. Okay, so yeah, it's important for you to connect with others. It's important for you to see the way that things connect and integrate, rather than being in the survival mechanism. It feels like a wounded dog or something. Like you've gone through so much and you're wounded, and so you don't trust people anymore, and you kind of isolate yourself too, because you're in that survival mode. You know, you don't know who you can trust. You don't know who's going to give you that blow that'll put you in the hospital, like just tear you apart. But the universe is saying up your vibe and connect with your true self. That is going to bring in the right people. Don't isolate yourself. Sometimes it does more harm than good. You know, definitely take time for yourself and spend time with your own your own energy. That's also important, but more than anything, expanding outside of yourself. Maybe that's what this mentor is about, is really going to help you heal certain parts of yourself and expand your worldview outside of just the survival instinctual mechanism that you've been putting up. And I looked at the time on here and it was 44:44. So that's beautiful. I always take 4s as a sign of awakening, like jumping from 3rd to 4th dimension, but that's just me. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys. If you've enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Again, if you would like a personal reading, that information is in the description box. But that's it, guys. I love you.